You are a garden. That's right, you. You are a garden that was formed in your own mother's womb. You didn't choose the soil, and you didn't pick the season that you came out. And for a long time, other people maintained your garden. Heck, you didn't even know you had a garden. And maybe it's not fair that before you ever even knew you had a garden, somebody buried a dead body in it. And they trashed it and they put weeds in it. Now you got vines in it and you can't really move around. You can't really work in it because you're getting cut and scraped and it's dangerous and you get lost. It's too much of a wilderness in the garden now. And you didn't even, it's not your fault. But it's your garden. It's your garden now. So it's your responsibility. We're all just a garden. The question is, are you a gardener? Are you going to blame your mama and daddy for the weeds in your garden for your entire existence? I know it's not fair that they got to put weeds in your garden, but you know what would be really unfair? You know what would be the most unfair is if you spent your entire existence living in a garden that you didn't plant anything in. A garden that grows fruit that you don't want to eat, share, or produce. A garden that you're going to get cut and scraped and lost just walking around in it. And if you bring anybody else in, the same thing's going to happen to them too. That would be really unfair to spend your whole life in a garden and never become a gardener. That's the most unfair thing. So the only just thing to do really is get to gardening. Become a gardener. Go in there and start pulling up the weeds. And yeah, you might pull up weeds and then more are going to sprout up over here. You might not know where to start because there's so much work. But you got very few options here. You can live in that garden and it can hurt you to move around in it. It can hurt you to just exist. It's dangerous to go over there. You don't know what's over there. You don't know what's over there. You don't know where you're going to get cut on. You don't know what's going to attack you. It might be a poisonous spider in here. Anything. It's just wilderness. But wouldn't it be nice to know what your garden could look like, to know what you actually could produce? I know it's going to take work. I know it's going to take a lot of work. Gardening isn't easy. It takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of persistence. It takes a lot of perseverance. And yeah, you might have to go behind some people and do some work. Undo some of the stuff that they did. You might need to pull up some plants that ain't got no business being in your garden. You might need to pull up some weeds that ain't got no business being in your garden. You might need to kick out some insects that ain't got no business being there. Some rodents, some beasts that ain't got no business being in your garden. But it's your garden. Don't allow yourself to get stuck in a garden that other people made for you and they weren't even gardeners. Instead, become a gardener and look after your garden. Plant what you want to plant. Pull up the weeds. Do whatever you need to do. Become whoever you need to become to take care of your garden. Because every garden is not the same. Every garden doesn't use the same seeds, nor the same soil, nor need the same amount of sun, nor the same amount of water. So become the gardener that your garden needs. Every garden is different. You are the garden. You really are. Every thought you have is a seed. And you water that thought. And it produces fruit that look like actions, whatever actions you may take. So think about the seeds that you're planting in your mind, because if you follow that seed into an action and if it doesn't look like a good action, then maybe that thought is a bad seed. And sometimes that's just the seed that fell off of a tree that was already in your garden that you didn't plant. How about that? So now that seed is just reproducing itself. So it really behooves each and every single one of us to get in our garden, to really fully engage with our garden, take responsibility for our garden, take inventory and stock of our garden. Is there a lot of weeds? Are there a lot of thorns? Can anyone come in here without getting cut up? Can anybody come in here without getting lost? If they came in here, would they even know what was going on? A garden should be beautiful and peaceful and fruitful, bearing the type of fruit that you would enjoy. What's in your garden? What's in your garden? Are you a gardener? I hope this message resonates for somebody.